NFPA 72, National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code, provides requirements for clearances in elevator machine rooms. Specifically, NFPA 72 2022 edition, section 24.22 1.14 states that working spaces in front of panels or controllers that require access for maintenance or troubleshooting shall have at least 3 feet, which is equal to 914 millimeters, of clearance. This requirement ensures that technicians and maintenance personnel have sufficient space to safely and effectively perform their duties. The clearance is measured horizontally from the front of the controller or panel. It must be clear of obstructions that could impede access. The purpose of this clearance is to provide a safe and accessible working environment. It allows technicians to perform maintenance, troubleshoot issues, and conduct inspections without being hindered by physical obstructions. Ensuring adequate clearance reduces the risk of accidents and injuries while working on electrical equipment. The specific section of NFPA 72 that addresses this, section 24.22 1.14, is found within the chapter dedicated to the installation and maintenance of fire alarm systems. Although the code is primarily focused on fire alarm systems, this particular section applies broadly to any controllers or panels that require access for maintenance or troubleshooting within elevator machine rooms. Therefore, it's important to consider the requirements of NFPA 72, even when working on non-fire alarm-related controllers in these spaces. The 3-foot clearance requirement is a minimum standard. In some cases, depending on the specific equipment and the nature of the work being performed, it may be necessary to provide even greater clearance. Factors to consider include the size of the equipment, the complexity of the maintenance procedures, and the presence of other hazards in the area. It's always best to err on the side of caution and provide ample space for safe working conditions. The code specifies a minimum clearance to provide a standardized level of safety and accessibility. However, there are situations where additional clearance may be beneficial or even necessary to ensure worker safety and efficient maintenance practices. For example, if the controller being serviced is particularly large or complex, additional clearance might be needed to maneuver tools and equipment effectively. Or, if the elevator machine room is cramped or contains other equipment, providing more than the minimum clearance could improve access and reduce the risk of accidents. While NFPA 72 provides a general framework for clearance requirements, it's also important to consider any local codes or regulations that may apply. Some jurisdictions may have more stringent requirements or additional specifications for elevator machine room clearances. It's essential to consult with local authorities and relevant building codes to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. Regularly inspect elevator machine rooms to ensure that the required clearances are maintained. Over time, items may be stored or placed in front of controllers, obstructing access and violating code requirements. Routine inspections can help identify and correct these issues, ensuring that the working space remains safe and accessible. Document any inspections and corrective actions taken to demonstrate compliance with NFPA 72 and other applicable regulations. This documentation can be valuable in the event of an inspection or audit by regulatory authorities. Also make sure that all technicians and maintenance personnel are aware of the clearance requirements and the importance of maintaining a safe working environment. Provide training on NFPA 72 and other relevant codes and standards. Emphasize the importance of following safety procedures and reporting any hazards or obstructions. Also remind them that clear communication and coordination between technicians, maintenance personnel, and other stakeholders are essential for ensuring safe and efficient work practices in elevator machine rooms. Establish clear lines of communication and procedures for reporting any issues or concerns. Furthermore, proper lighting can significantly enhance safety and productivity in elevator machine rooms. Ensure that the working space is adequately lit to allow technicians to see clearly and perform their tasks effectively. Consider installing additional lighting if necessary to improve visibility and reduce the risk of accidents. Always address any violations of the clearance requirements promptly to minimize the risk of accidents and ensure compliance with code regulations. Remove any obstructions or stored items that are blocking access to controllers. If necessary, rearrange equipment or modify the layout of the machine room to provide adequate clearance. If modifications are made to the machine room, be sure to update any relevant documentation such as floor plans or equipment layouts. These updates will help ensure that everyone is aware of the changes and that the machine room remains in compliance with code requirements. In older elevator machine rooms, it may be challenging to achieve the required clearances due to space constraints or existing equipment layouts. In these situations, it may be necessary to make significant modifications to the machine room or even relocate equipment to comply with NFPA 72 and other applicable regulations. When planning any modifications or renovations to an elevator machine room, consult with qualified engineers and contractors to ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with all applicable codes and standards. Obtain any necessary permits or approvals from local authorities before starting work. Following these guidelines, you can ensure that elevator machine rooms are safe and compliant with NFPA 72 and other applicable regulations. Prioritizing worker safety and maintaining a clear and accessible working environment are essential for preventing accidents and ensuring the reliable operation of elevators. Furthermore, NFPA 72 is not the only standard that might impact elevator machine rooms. For example, the National Electrical Code, or NEC, also contains requirements related to working space around electrical equipment, including controllers and panels. The NEC specifies minimum clearances based on the voltage of the equipment and the presence of exposed live parts. The NEC requirements may be more stringent than those in NFPA 72 in some cases, so it's important to be familiar with both standards and comply with the more restrictive requirements. In addition to clearance requirements, the NEC also addresses other aspects of electrical safety in elevator machine rooms such as grounding, wiring methods, and overcurrent protection. Compliance with the NEC is essential for preventing electrical hazards and ensuring the safe operation of electrical equipment. Furthermore, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, may also have implications for elevator machine room accessibility. The ADA requires that buildings and facilities be accessible to people with disabilities, including those who use wheelchairs or other mobility devices. This may include ensuring that elevator machine rooms are accessible and that there is sufficient space for people with disabilities to maneuver around equipment. The ADA also addresses issues such as door widths, ramp slopes, and the placement of controls and signage. When designing or modifying an elevator machine room, it's important to consider the requirements of the ADA to ensure that the space is accessible to everyone. And you should consider the specific type of elevator system being used. Different types of elevators may have different controller configurations and maintenance requirements, which could affect the required clearances. For example, hydraulic elevators may have different controller layouts than traction elevators. It's important to understand the specific characteristics of the elevator system when determining the appropriate clearance requirements. Be sure to follow the manufacturer's recommendations for maintenance and service procedures. These recommendations may include specific clearance requirements or other safety precautions that should be followed. It's essential to adhere to the manufacturer's guidelines to ensure the safe and reliable operation of the elevator system. Also, it is important to remember that regular maintenance is crucial for ensuring the safe and reliable operation of elevators. Develop a comprehensive maintenance plan that includes regular inspections, testing, and repairs. Train maintenance personnel on proper procedures and safety precautions. Keep accurate records of all maintenance activities. Regular maintenance can help identify and address potential problems before they lead to accidents or equipment failures. By following a proactive maintenance approach, you can ensure that elevators operate safely and efficiently for many years. And finally, remember, safety should always be the top priority in elevator machine rooms. Implement a comprehensive safety program that includes regular training, hazard assessments, and safety audits. Encourage employees to report any safety concerns or potential hazards. By creating a safety-conscious culture, you can minimize the risk of accidents and injuries in elevator machine rooms.